Morning. In October of 2017, I had the very special honor of coordinating the Aztecs Rock Hunger campaign. What this campaign is it's a campus-wide philanthropy that associated students at SDSU hosts each year to fight food insecurities both on campus and in the community with our partnership with the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank. And through this campaign, as the coordinator of it, I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about garnering support, what registered with people, what didn't register with people, and how the movement kind of caught on virally at San Diego State University and in the community. And so through this talk, the main thing that I realized through all the lessons that I learned is that fear itself was instrumental in the success of my campaign. And so what I'm going to do is from start to finish, explain how fear itself made a huge impact. And I'm also going to bring in some other examples of how with other people, fear has made a huge difference as well. So to start here, from the very beginning of my campaign, I made it a goal of mine to reach 500,000 pounds of food. This was the why for me. It was what kind of set the tone. And for me, I was fearful right from the start because that was a new goal. That was something that hadn't been done before. And it was either kind of a make or break thing. And when I did this, I thought about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is a professional basketball player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And last season, he statistically had one of the best seasons in NBA history. When what he did was he averaged a triple-double, which hadn't happened in over 50 years. And if you aren't familiar with what that is, that's completely okay. Take my word for it that it's incredibly hard to do. And as I mentioned, statistically, it is one of the best seasons in NBA history. And Russell Westbrook lives by a motto of why not. He's gone by this since his early years. It's always been his motto. For him, it was never about asking why. It was never about checking the boxes why. I think oftentimes we get fearful when we set goals for ourselves and it becomes, why can I do this? What exactly is it that's gonna get me there? Russell Westbrook didn't care that it hadn't happened in over 50 years, that a triple-double had been the average for the season. He said, why not? And so every single night when he laces up in his career, he sees it somewhere on his shoes. It says, why not? It's a constant reminder going into the game, why not? Why not get a triple-double tonight? And so for me, at the very start of this campaign, it was kind of a similar mindset. While Russell Westbrook is most known for his freaky athleticism, I think his mindset is his most powerful asset because he's not afraid of failure. He's not fearful of it. In fact, it's the thing that's pushing him the furthest. And so with me, when I set my goal of 500,000 pounds of food back in June of 2017, I asked myself, why not? What's stopping me from reaching that and having the most successful campaign that we've had so far? About 2 weeks into the campaign, I was stressed out. As a numbers guy, I'm a finance major, and I was constantly crunching the numbers to see where we were at with progress in the campaign to make sure that we were on point to hit this 500,000 pounds of food. And we were well behind. And it was about 7 days left in the campaign, and it's a 3-week campaign, by the way. We were about 7 days left, a week left, and we were well behind. And again, fear played an instrumental role because at that point, it wasn't really about the fear stopping me from getting there. The fear kind of took over for me. And it reminds me of a girl named Tammy Blackburn. Tammy works on this campaign with us, and she's actually a faculty member here at SDSU. She went here as a student and a student athlete, actually a basketball player for 4 years. She's also been doing commentating for college basketball, women's college basketball over the course of her career. And on September 1st, 2017, Tammy was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And through this, she's learned a lot about herself and everything that fear comes into play with her fight in cancer. And she's doing so well with the cancer, actually, that she's receiving recognition from across the country for her bravery because she wants to reverse the stigma of what cancer is to make it something positive. She's actually also raising money for scholarships with students struggling with the same thing. And I sat down with Tammy in January and I asked her, what is it that's pushing you to do this? Because she told me at one point that when you wake up every morning and you're looking into the eye of stage 2 breast cancer, fear is a daily presence in your life. Every single day it's there. And she said, but the thing is, she continues to work, she continues to call games. She said, there's something inside of me, it stuck with me forever, I'll never forget this. She said, there's something inside of me that's telling me I need to do this. She said, I don't have an option. I think oftentimes when we're faced with fear, it comes down to a fight or flight situation. I think a lot of people have heard that. But in this situation, It's a special phenomenon where fear does not give you an option of fight or flight. It's to do. You have one option, and it is to accomplish your goal and to do it. And Tammy was doing that. And while I understand that fighting cancer and raising money are two completely separate things that aren't to be compared, the one thing I noticed about Tammy's fear is that it helped her so much like it did in my campaign. And at this mark where we were 2 weeks in, 1 week left in the campaign, fear took over for me, and it was no longer an option. For a second, I thought about what it would be like to give a speech where I didn't accomplish that goal. But that erased so quickly because my fear told me in my head, you have to do this. You do not have an option. And similar to Tammy, I channeled that fear, and it took me to the last day of the campaign. In the last day of the campaign, we raised $13,000. And that was really the day of the campaign that separated it from a good campaign, and it pushed it to a great campaign. And what I think about here is that from the beginning, I was very fearful. Similar to that, elephants, when they're born, are very fearful. There's the old tale that the elephant is afraid of the mouse or the rat, whatever it is. They're actually fearful of any sudden movements. They're just fearful creatures. And as elephants are raised, they learn how to run so that they can escape this fear. It becomes one of their most successful tactics in staying safe. And so with that, as they grow older, it starts to become a movement where that fear that you kind of get at the very beginning, I had that fear instilled at the very beginning of the campaign. It became a powerful force at the end because we were all fearful together. We had a leadership team, and my peers and I who were working on the campaign. I could see that fear transcend into them and suddenly into so many other thousands of people. I was fearful that I was going to let down thousands of students and community members if I did not achieve my goal. There were people relying on this campaign to eat. And if I let myself down, I let everyone else down. And that fear suddenly caught on to everyone else. And that final day of the campaign is when the push really took off to something that I did not even expect. Like I said, we raised $13,000 that day, and it pushed the campaign to something that I didn't even expect it was ever going to get to. And so the elephant reminds me of this because that fear that's triggered from early on suddenly becomes a very powerful force when they're all running together. A herd of elephants running is something that cannot be stopped. And so with this campaign, it was a similar thing, how we were all fearful. It wasn't sudden movements that we were fearful of like elephants. We were fearful in the sense that we needed to succeed so badly that we weren't going to let anything else happen. And so we made sure of the fact that, similar to a herd of elephants running, we were a powerful force that could not be stopped. And that fear played a significant role in doing that. By the end of the campaign, we were able to raise 588,915 pounds of food. Thank you. And with that, this was a new record for the campaign, and year over year, it's the largest growth that the campaign has seen since its inception in 2009. And the reason I'm telling you this is not to show off, not to brag about what the university was able to accomplish, but I want to tell you that because this all happened because fear itself played an instrumental role in orchestrating a campaign that had never been done before. And while you all might not be coordinating a fundraising campaign to solve food insecurities, fear might be stopping you from doing anything. But I encourage you to utilize that fear as a powerful force and an agent of change to make sure that you can accomplish those goals and that you can make those things happen. Because when you reverse the stigma of fear and make it something really positive, it's incredible what it can do. For me, it helped us raise 588,915 pounds of food. For you, the possibilities are endless. And so what I want my key takeaway from this to be is that when you're looking into the face of adversity and fear is knocking on your door, you need to answer it. And not only that, but you need to answer it with open arms and accept that fear as something that could be possibly the difference from you doing something really good and you doing something really, really great. Thank you all so much.